Hi, welcome to Bad Music Taste and Other Ways to Ruin Your Life. My name is Dominic.
And my name is Sam. Dominic has a record this week.
This week's record is Make an Effort by Government Issue. This record was first released in 1983, and the copy I have here is a repress on black vinyl. Anyways, today we're talking to Doug Carrion of Field, Dag Nasty, and the Descendents. How's it going, Doug?
Dude, ladies and gentlemen from the interwebs, youngins, welcome back to the show.
The return of Doug Carrion.
The return, part 2 of Mr. Doug Carrion. I think I got to break out my metal voice for this one because it's so epic. In fact, I would like to thank my non-sponsor, Liquid Death. What's happening, guys? How are you? I miss you. What's going on in Baltimore? Are you surviving the COVID? What's happening?
We are. We're going back to school technically Friday, but we'll say Monday to spare our feelings.
Right. It's been pretty wild over there. Like I heard that I heard Baltimore was a little crazy, COVID-wise.
Maryland's doing pretty well.
Maryland's doing okay, but I think some of our surrounding states are having a couple issues.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's one of those things. Now, I'm sure hold on a second. Let's rewind for a second. The last time we spoke, it was pre-COVID, which is really wild because, right, we spoke before COVID.
I don't know. I think we started the podcast during COVID. I'm pretty
okay. Sure. I'm an idiot. You're totally right. So, well, I think maybe when how about this? I don't think we knew the depth of the COVID thing at that point.
Yeah,
like we were kind of innocent at the beginning. We were kind of innocent, like, maybe it'll go for a couple weeks or whatever. They're saying 6 weeks,
Yeah.
And then, so I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. We did speak during COVID, but I think I underestimated the COVID thing back then. Now it's been a minute and change since then. But I'm sure you don't want to talk about COVID. I'm sure you're done talking about that.
But yeah, as far as what's going on, I mean, Friday we went to the Discord house, which was just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
I saw the pictures. I think you guys are hovering off the deck. Like you're so excited. You're like, it's pretty wild. In fact, that might be picture of the year. As far as like, excitement of the year. Pretty cool.
And
that was
the one thing cool. That people like really noticed, like in terms of volume, this was the one comment that we got the most. It was, you guys are all wearing the same shoes, which was,
well, that's not true.
He's wearing Jack Purcells. We're wearing Chucks.
Thank you. See, there you go. See, you're a smart kid. Everybody else, the D word, they don't know anything.
And the other thing was, I'm wearing low tops. Sam is wearing high tops.
Whatever. See, there you go. Those are the same people that think all computers are the same. And everybody knows Mac is a superior brand. I'm totally busting your onions. I know you're a PC guy, dude.
Oh, Dad, I'm on like a Dell laptop right now. And
I know. I'm teasing.
The only Mac that I've ever used was like 10 years old.
Did you like it?
It was okay. It was easy to use.
Right.
I think just the fact that it was 10 years old had something to do with it. Had something to do with the fact that I still use a Dell.
So going back to the Discord thing, I did see your photos there, and it was pretty epic. And it was really cool. And then behind the scenes, I reached out to Ian and I was like, hey man, thanks for hosting. Blah, 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 blah. And he's always genuine and sweet and a good guy all the way around. Like super cool, man of his word.
Yeah, we like sat down and we listened to like like tapes of old Discord bands. We had the little Dag Nasty sing along to Fall.
What's funny is my guy Sean and I were talking, and it's like he doesn't do that for a lot of people. Like he doesn't do the tour for so it's pretty like, consider yourself special and kind of like in the inside world where it's like, that's really rare for, I mean, I'm sure he sees people and that, but you kind of got like, you kind of got something that that a lot of people want to do, but maybe they don't know how to approach it, or they just drive by and then they have like a Tourette's moment and they're like, I'm drinking caffeine, and they crash their car on the sidewalk or something. I don't know. But it's pretty badass.
Yeah, there were also some people that were like, I've been meaning to take a trip there. How'd you guys get in? It's like there's no special knock.
Yeah, no. Well, if you say so. If you say so, I'm just saying. You gotta. Sometimes the Wizard of Oz. You just don't want to look behind the curtain. I don't know.
Sam and I were talking like the night before we went, and we were saying like we have no expectations, like
right.
But we showed up and just like, there's some stuff where it was like, all right, we're totally going to see the skateboard, know.
Right.
But he pulls out the skateboard and the wheels are like this big.
Sure, they're blocks, dude.
Yeah.
What's amazing is he really he has a lot of artifacts and little trinkety things and receipts and cards, and it's pretty. Maybe he's gonna make Discord House and Museum all on its own. You know what I mean? It's just like it's a trippy little spot, for sure.
There's enough there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We just saw he has, like you said, like documentation of everything. And it's just like, it almost amazes you, because it's like he's just been keeping, like you said, like little memorabilia since like the very beginning.
Yeah. And like, it's almost like he knew that they were going to like make it huge. So like, might as well keep all this stuff.
If you say so, I think that just kind of like, have you by chance, did you get to see the interview he did with Nardwuar, the long form interview he did with Nardwuar
on his like radio show?
Yeah, it's like a YouTube. It's like
I studied that before we talked to Ian.
It's pretty badass because you see that it's like Ian's approach is just like, I had a box under the desk and I would just toss stuff under the desk, and then when the box was full I'd throw it in the attic and fill it up. So it's kind of like as years went on there were more boxes. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
It was like everything he pulled out was like a huge surprise. He pulls out this little card and starts reading it. It's like, hey Ian, I'm looking for a band. He flips it over, signed Dave Grohl. Like we had no clue that was Dave Grohl. He pulls out this tape. He's like, we first recorded this in like 1978. And then he opens it and he's like, this is the first Bad Brains recording. It's like everything was so like suspenseful.
I know. That's good.
It was insane. I mean,
that's good.
You could hear the unanimous, like the gasps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, not everybody gets to do that. Like that. Like not everybody gets. That's just. It's super for people that are like punk historians or into punk music or just the general history of punk rock. Like, come on, man. You're like looking at like the old 1/4-inch tapes of like Bad Brains recordings and stuff. That's mind blowing. That's like next level. Holy shit. That's rad. It's super. That's crazy. And good for him to do it. And that's great.
Yeah. We were like standing in the basement and he was like, this is where all the bands practice. This is where Minor Threat practiced and Rites of Spring and Fugazi. The most shocking thing was how short the ceiling was.
Yes.
Like getting out, my mom smacked her head.
Right. Yeah. And that's the part, like everybody had to like sit down to rehearse or whatever they had to do. It's like, it's pretty amazing. All of that. Like, if you think about like, Minor Threat, or you think about Fugazi or Rites of Spring, the bands rehearsing there, you're like, how did that work? Like, with the low ceiling, how'd that work?
He is like squatting as he's
so whatever. That's pretty cool. That's cool. I'm glad you did that. The pictures looked amazing, and that's definitely one for the history books. Sure.
Thank you. But moving on to like field day stuff. You guys have some shows coming up. You guys just announced the 2.0 tour. So how did you guys know when it was time to start booking shows again? And how are you feeling about actually playing the shows?
Really excited about playing the shows. How do I know that it's the right time to do the shows and all that stuff? You really don't. and you hope that everybody's going to be decent. I believe that more people are good than bad. And so I'm going to lean on the posy side and say, I think that everybody wants to come out. I think that everybody knows what they need to do in order to come out. Those book, like I start booking those probably about 6 months before. So, a little bit before you're kind of digging in and finding what cities are doing shows. And then you're trying to determine, like, are they really doing shows? Are they thinking about doing shows? I mean, there still is a wonderful chance that we're going to do those shows. And then there's a realistic chance that the bottom could just drop all the way out. And you're like, free falling into the nothingness of less shows. So that's kind of how that went about. And the 2.0 tour is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 22 shows between September 22nd. We start in San Pedro, and it'll run all the way until roughly December 5th or so. And we're going to jump to the East Coast, and we're going to be on the West Coast and back to the East Coast and in the Midwest, and all, we're fingers crossed, everybody be cool. We can't wait to do it. The band's firing on all pistons. And that's kind of how it's going to go down. That's where we are. So we're going. I know it would be stupid for me just rattle off a bunch of dates. So probably the easiest thing for people to do would be under like the Instagram or under Facebook, go to Field Day Sounds. And if you just Google it or Field Day Sounds or whatever, you'll see all the shows and you go, oh shoot, they're going to be in Detroit. Oh shoot, they're going to be in Atlanta, whatever. So that's kind of the easiest way to track that down. But we're looking forward to doing it. Speaking of that, I'm going to shift over to a funny story. So some people know that Peter lives over in Philly, and the band, myself and Kevin and Shay, were based in Los Angeles. And so Peter had come out last weekend to do rehearsals because we're getting ready to play. And he's coming out to do rehearsals. And about 3 days before, I was like, hey, Peter, I was like, do you know that the Descendents are playing 1 hour away from us on Saturday? And I was like, would you want to go? And he's like, are you crazy? Of course I want to go. So even though we were in rehearsal mode, we officially dipped out to see the Descendents on the 21st of August. And it was great and funny and silly. And I don't know, Dom, and Sam, like you guys, when you see that you've seen Descendents and you see how many people are trying to get at them when they're kind of like, it's a scene, right? Okay. So I've seen them a couple times, 5 or 6 times over the last little bit. And each time as the band continues to get bigger, there's more and more people kind of like, hitting them up with questions and photos and blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like sometimes when you go backstage to see bands, do you know, like if I were to, let's say, be calling you 5 minutes before you're leaving for school and you're like, oh my God, Doug, I can't talk right now. Can I hit you a little later? Just because you're preoccupied and you don't want to, like, I don't know, forget whatever it is that you're supposed to get as you have that little 3-minute window before you walk out the door for school or whatever. School would be a practical thing. So what's funny is Peter and I, we go to the show and it's Descendents Rise Against, and we go and we got our tickets and we got our little backstage thing. And as we're walking in, I run into Bill's wife. I run into Stacy. Hey, what's going on? High five, blah, 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 blah. Peter's never met her. Hey, Peter, blah, 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 blah. And so we go to the back area. Nobody there. Nobody. I'm talking 0 people. So we're standing in this empty kind of like corridor, right? And about 7 minutes, I'm talking to Stacy, and here comes Bill, and he walks by. He's like, hey, Doug, what's going on? And he's just, he has his routine before the show. It's like, cool. He's getting up. He's getting fueled up on coffee. And then a couple minutes later, I see Carl. Still nobody there. It's me and Stacy, Peter, my friend Kevin, and Stacy's friend Jess. 4 people, 5 people. Nobody. Freaking ghost town. So Stefan pops up, hey dude, what's going on? Carl pops up, hey dude. So, and then I'm like, okay, cool. So then within like boom to boom, all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's time for us to play. And I'm thinking, God damn, I'm glad we weren't late. We would have missed him. So Rhino gives them the like, come on boys. So now we're walking to the big stage or whatever, right? So we're at the big stage and I can see Milo, and Milo's kind of getting ready, doing his thing, right? And before a band plays, what Peter and I call the Don Rickles, where they kind of like work out, okay, are we going out together? Are we going out separately? Don't forget to this. And they kind of, it's the last minute, like, get ready. Because once you pull the chute, there's no turning back. You're in. And on this particular show, Milo was opted to like ride a bike out onto the stage because the stage was super big. Plus he had like a collapsible bike, whatever. So Peter and I are kind of watching and we're laughing how much it's like, wow, it really is the Don Rickles thing, only on a larger scale. They're probably playing in front of, I'm going to guess it was probably 8,000 people, 7 to 10,000 people. It's a big freaking show. It's a big show. Rise Against is very popular. And so they go out there and they crush it. Bam, bam, bam. They crush it. The band's done, right? We go backstage. Crickets. Nobody there. And so Peter and I are sitting there and we're like, okay. I see Bill and he's kind of cruising. I see Stefan, he's cruising. Carl and I start talking. And then I'm like, well, shit. I was like, should we bail? Like, there's nobody here. I don't want to be underfoot. And then Peter's like, well, at least let me say bye to Milo. And so we tuck over into this little, I don't know, a very small room, probably about maybe, I don't know, the size of your bedroom or so. And it's Milo and he's just standing there by himself. It's like, hey, we're like, hey. And of course we just start kind of catching up. That was it. And so we hung out with the band with literally nobody there, which talk about like serendipitous and freaky. And then like an hour later, I'm back at Studio City and, my kids are like, some of my kids' friends were at the show and they're like, Dad, were you at the show? I'm like, yeah. And you could see they're like, yeah, I got to see Descendents. Woo. Got to see Rise Against. Woo. And I was like, yeah. And you would not believe that 45 minutes ago, I was standing backstage with nobody back there but the band. It's the freakiest thing in the world. But either way, funny guys, super great on their game. Seeing them is a bit like, in a way, it's like a family reunion when you like run into cousins that you haven't seen for a long time. And you just go, dude, what's going on? And you're like, right back where you were, exactly where you were. So it's kind of cool. It was special. It was really cool because Peter hasn't run into all of them in one shot. I don't think I've seen Bill, Milo, Carl, and Stefan in the same proximity in 10 years. I see them separately. Here comes Bill, there goes Milo. I see them separately, but I've never seen them like in the same spot. So it's really kind of crazy. But either way, Descendants crushing. There you go. That's my dumb Descendants story.
I saw Peter's selfie with Milo. It was great.
Isn't that amazing? So was
that a mirror? I thought that was a mirror at first. Or did he just not know how to aim his phone?
I'm gonna go with okay. So first off, since people don't know what it is, Peter basically takes a selfie with Milo, and all it is a photograph of the wall, and there's nobody in the photo. And so, you remember before where I think I've said before where it's like you never really know whether Peter's messing with you. He's just kind of like he always has this like. He's the guy that gets the joke and doesn't care if anybody else gets it. It's okay for him to be laughing. I got one on you. And so I think what he was doing was trying to do the opposite of what I would do, where talk about opposite land, where I'll take a photo. Hey, it's me and Joe, whatever, Hulk Hogan or whatever, it's like, there I am. And for Peter, it's like a photo of somebody's shoes, their shoelaces. He's like that. And then he'll do the like, that's the best I can get, where he's messing with you. So I really think he's kind of like teasing me when he does that, just to be Peter.
I saw the caption and I was like, oh cool. And then I scroll back up. I'm like, there's nothing there. I was like, what? Like, I didn't even
nobody.
get it at first. I was like,
Nobody.
Okay.
But that's how he is. He's like Sasquatch, dude.
Yeah, we saw the Descendents about like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we were walking out in the middle of Rise Against set because it was a Tuesday, and Milo's just standing right there towards the van, and Sam goes, "Hey, look, there's Milo." I go, "Hey, look, there's Milo," and my dad goes, "That's Milo."
And then I was just sitting there and I was like,
so,
right.
We walked over to the little, because there's like a little gate in front of the like vans. So we walk over, like we wave towards him. He starts walking over. Security comes over. They're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What do you guys think you're doing?" And we're like, "We're trying to meet Milo." They're like, "Oh, okay." And then we heard one of the security guards just whisper, "Are those the guys from one of the bands?" Like talking about us.
Right. That's so thinking you're in the band.
Or like thinking that like my dad or my mom.
Oh, I see. That's
they're
so
in the
funny.
band.
That's so funny.
So then we're talking to Milo. That was just, and afterwards I saw like tons of posts of people saying like, "Met Milo in Baltimore tonight." Like that's just so funny that they just stick around and wait.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is it's like for him, he's still pretty much the same guy, like very nice, approachable. You know.
Yeah, and we're talking to him, and his wife, I'm not sure what his wife's name is, but she's standing in the back. She's like looking at us. She's like, and then she like runs over. She's like, "You're the guys with the podcast."
You go, yeah. I love it. Yeah.
And then Milo's like, "Oh yeah."
Right, there you go.
Like funny, my wife remembered and I didn't.
Right. Well, you know, there is something to be said about his absent-mindedness, you know what I mean? Because his brain is thinking about other things, you know.
Thinking about broccoli or
I don't know.
Corn.
That's it. But
whatever
exactly. So that's kind of what's been going on there. What else has been happening?
Well, yeah, like I said, school is starting on Monday, which is nice but nerve-wracking.
Kind of sad.
Right.
It's kind of sad that it's the only thing we got going on right now. But
yeah,
I mean, it's
and
the
you
main
guys
thing.
are you guys going into 8th grade or 9th grade?
9th grade.
Ninth.
Yeah.
9th grade. Got it. Okay, cool.
And
that's exciting.
Last year people were going back towards like the end of the year. Sam went back. I didn't. And now it's kind of like nerve-wracking for me. I'm going back to school, like actually into the building on Monday, which is so just crazy that it's been like 2 years.
Are you getting like anxiety attacks?
Not necessarily like anxiety, but just like it's happening.
Yeah, I think it's just it's the gravity of the situation. That's how I feel. Because like yes, I went back in the spring, but it was like what 2 days a week, and it was It wasn't.
You did like a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
You did like a hybrid thing. I remember.
Whereas now, while masks are required, it's still kind of like odd because there's going to be just a lot of people, which is why we were saying like this Friday we have like a freshman day. So that we don't have to be like bombarded by the upperclassmen.
Are you gonna like do extra activities and stuff at school?
I already have a few things.
I know you're crazy. Your schedule's like, do you play like lacrosse or something? Is that your other thing?
Field hockey.
Field hockey. Okay. Isn't that the same as lacrosse, or are they different?
No, it's a lacrosse on the ground and with a hockey stick.
Wait a minute.
I think lacrosse, they have like little pockets in there.
Lacrosse is like the nets and they're in the air.
And field hockey. What's field hocky?
Okay, it's like hockey, but instead of the puck, it's just the ball on the field.
So field hockey is like ice hockey on turf.
Do you wear a helmet?
No, we wear
teeth guards.
Yes.
Hell yeah, man! Get cracked with one of those things. That's amazing. Are you good?
Oh yeah. I saw her play on Monday, Monday, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
somebody else that we know plays on the same team.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
Yeah.
This is lacrosse.
And is it kind of like the same positions as hockey or the same positions as soccer? Kind of like forwards?
I would
midfield,
say,
like
yeah,
that?
forwards, midfield, defense, stuff like that.
And what do you play?
I play midfield and defense.
Okay.
I do a little bit of both. But
then do they have people that are like ringers that are the shooters? Is it like soccer where you have people that are specific shooters?
We would have people that like we would prefer to do stuff like that, like kind of assigned. But I mean, it's fun. Me and our mutual friend tried out for the team. We got JV, so that's pretty cool.
So you didn't do it before?
I've played rec before, but I haven't done it like for a school team. Whereas our friend, it was brand new, and she made it. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool. Dom, what about you? Are you still skating a ton?
I am, yeah.
Any broken limbs?
No, not yet.
Knock on wood. Good. That's good.
I love just like going to like different places and skating.
Yeah.
So we went to like Baltimore City and we were skating around. And
cool.
like I've always been too scared to like ollie stairs. So I do like bonelesses down them. Then it was like, oh my God, this is the perfect two-stair. It was like that big. It's like perfect.
Did you do it?
I did it.
Okay. Fun.
So that was that felt good. And then I got a kickflip.
Is my
off a
dog
curb.
Barking driving you crazy? Should I eject my dog? Oh.
No.
Yeah. And then I got a kickflip off of a curb, which I've never been able to do before. So
there you go. That's cool. I love it.
Dom pretty crazy. He's getting really good. And every time you do new things, I get nervous because I think you're just gonna like break your neck.
Well, thank you, Sam.
I mean, it is one of those things. It is one of those things where you, in order to get good, you kind of have to. Sometimes you got to slam a little bit. You got.
And I think that's why I've become more of like a videographer than an actual skater. I'll gladly watch you and like get clips, but I'm a little too nervous.
That was the other thing. We built a mini ramp, or not a mini ramp, but just a little quarter pipe. So I've been trying to learn how to just do like little stalls, but the weather sucks.
Yeah,
right now is it raining?
It's not raining right now, but it's rained like every day for the past week.
It's rained and like stormed really bad for like every single day, and then when it isn't, it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Right. Ooh, nasty. Yeah, it's Los Angeles has the normal like 90 degrees and sunny weather. It's pretty warm. It's pretty warm.
I think it was like earlier this year. We were talking and I was like, it's still super cold over here. And then you were like, oh yeah, it's starting to warm up. Today was about 80. It was like, if that was just starting to warm up for me.
It's true. It's true. It gets hot as hell here.
I was saying, like, if 80 degrees is starting to warm up, Boston's gonna suck.
Yeah. Well,
oh shit, Boston in December?
Dude, don't get me started. We are gonna get up that way, but we're gonna do Boston on November 13th. I think that's a Saturday, November 13th. So should be pretty good. But I'm gonna come see you guys in Baltimore pretty quick. So that's pretty cool at the Auto Bar. Get ready.
I saw that you guys aren't playing anything for like a couple days after that. Then I believe.
I think we could. Let's see here. So that's like 14, 15, 16. The next weekend, then we're in Atlanta and Knoxville.
Okay.
Right.
So 16th is Baltimore, and then the 22nd is Knoxville.
Right. I'm gonna try to sneak away and see Turnstile this weekend.
Oh wow! Turnstile just played a show.
Yeah, they just played. Yeah. For
they played in Baltimore.
For homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, they played like a free show, and I saw it the day after. It was like it would have been perfect. It was a free show. It was a benefit. It was on a Saturday,
And we didn't
Yep.
see it till like after. And that morning I was like, oh, that sucks.
That would've
You
been
didn't.
great.
Found out.
You didn't have the wizard knock. You didn't have the special knock, dude.
I don't follow
I don't know
AP
what's going on.
Press.
I thought you guys.
Alternative.
I thought you guys are running Baltimore. What's going on here?
I
We're gonna have
thought
to
so,
up-
and then
you're gonna have to up
Turnstile
your
came
game.
and kicked us out.
You
And
got booted
Turnstile
out of
just-
your own city.
Oh my god.
Turnstile took over.
I know. But
Sucked.
I am looking forward to they're playing like Garden App, so I'm gonna try and sneak away and see if I could get it going. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're cool. I like where they're going.
Yeah, I would have loved to
where they're
see
going.
that band. I think they just put out a new record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're chugging along. But yeah, since we spoke last, we've been kind of doing quite a bit of the like recording, releasing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Sure.
So before we did the 2.0 7-inch, which did pretty well. And then we did the Opposite Land, which was the 5-song EP with the Peter etching, right? Did pretty well. And then we did a single that came out on Strength Through Unity, which was a compilation with like Combat Kids, Sick of It All, blah, 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 blah. That did pretty well. And now what's in the tanks is we have a 7-inch called Y, which is a 3-song 7-inch that's supposed to come out in, I'm going to conservatively say November. And the only reason why I'm cautious is because shipping and how long it's taking to manufacture vinyl right now kind of blows. But it's definitely like we're in the test pressing phase where it's like the test pressings are done, blah, 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 blah. And then we're gonna that's probably gonna come out in November. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then we have two things behind that. One is we're right now discussing whether we want to take all the songs that we've done, put them all together on one piece of vinyl. Plus, there's like 2 or 3 other songs that we have done that are already mixed so that we may put on that, and that might come out in the springtime. So we're kind of doing that. And so the next thing for us musically will be like the Y 7-inch that's coming out. So it's kind of in the queue coming along. And that's going to be like through Unity Worldwide. So for the people that live in Europe, that'll be like through Cortex. And then the people that live in the States, it'll be through Rev. So that's how everybody can find it. That's it. Easy stuff.
Yeah.
Easy stuff.
One thing I wanted to ask is when it comes to actually like playing the shows and like making the sets, are you guys going to focus more like Dag Nasty, focus more originals, or like little bit of both?
What do you think I should do?
I would love to see some Dag Nasty. I would also really love to see some Field Day.
Right.
Like some originals.
So there you go. So right now, I think we're gonna kind of play it by ear, but for the most part, we're gonna do probably anywhere between 3 and 5 new songs within the set. So we opted to, rather than make the show the same, I don't know, let's say you're talking about playing for 50 minutes or an hour, rather than us playing the 50 minutes or the hour and lopping songs off, what we're actually going to do is just make the show a little bit longer. So we're going to play a little bit longer. So I think we're going to add songs. So I think that's how we're going to get to it. And I don't know, Peter and I have been discussing what's the right thing. So for Europe, with Europe, they kind of want like a 60-40 mix, meaning, they want 6 old songs and 4 new songs is kind of like how they do it. So I don't know, I don't really know. I think as each city is going to kind of tell us, like, you do a new one, and if people are like, oh, wow, that's cool, then you knock another new one out, and you knock another new one out. So we're, right now we're actively rehearsing. And I would say we probably would play anywhere between 3 and 5. And I don't know whether we should play more than that right now. Like, that might be pushing our luck, like, doing rando songs that people don't know. There's no way around that people are going to want to hear All Ages Show, or they're going to want to hear Godfather. They're going to want to hear Safe.
Like,
so
I thought that Opposite Land was fucking phenomenal, but at the same time, Wig Out at Danko's was fucking phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah.
Just finding the good balance.
Yeah.
Like it's of both.
And what's wild is that sometimes you don't know the balance until you get in the room. Like you literally are like, oh, okay, let's do a couple more from this. So, we've been we're, like I said, we're probably, I think we're about on, we could probably play anywhere 5 songs, 6 songs of the new stuff, like off the rip, but there's also a funny, there's one of the other things too, that I don't know if you guys have tuned in on or figured out, but Peter and I kind of like to make, the band, not just Peter and I, like the band, we like to make the shows, each one kind of special. So every once in a while, when we're in a town where there's a local band or a local thing, we'll try to cover one of their songs or give the nod. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, for example, and this is great too. So for example, when we're getting ready to play San Pedro, and so we will do a Minutemen song, right? Which is San Pedro. There you go. When we go up to Boston, I haven't figured out whether we're going to play Glue, Jerry's Kids Straight Jacket, or Boiling Point SSD. So I've got like 2 SSD choices and then a Jerry's Kids one. So we're trying to figure that out. But we'll try to rip through it and have fun. I'm leaning in the direction of Glue for that town. When we go to Philly, we might do maybe we might do Nick Shred, giving for the band Nick Rad. So we might do. So we're just we try to make things kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess for the people that know where we are, we're always by no means is it like send us a request, but we're open to ideas. Where if somebody's like, hey dude, have you thought about don't forget the the Chubby Chucks or whatever. So that's kind of where we are.
Like Richmond, you could play a Veil or something. Yeah,
we could do a Veil, or maybe we could go backwards and maybe we could do a Guar song. Go ahead, you're saying.
I saw that. I saw this video on YouTube that when you guys were in DC, you did Government Issue.
Yeah, we can do a Government Issue one. That one we also did. Mission of Burma, like a Mission of Burma breakdown inside of a song. So we like to do. We just like when we were we did the Government Issue one when we were in New Jersey. We actually had Tom Lyle come out and play with us.
That's what it was.
So we did Teenager in a Box, which is a different thing. So whatever. Yeah. So we just try to do, try to have fun. The whole idea is to have fun and keep ourselves, kind of, intrigued and chasing how to get better, how to learn new songs. How do they do that? So I think that's kind of where we are. So
the funny thing is, like right now, it's like before it used to be like in 2 months, I'll probably be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. I'll be going to school, business as usual. Mm-hmm. And like right now, every 2 months, it's something different. And it's so weird. Like,
right.
So just.
Well, remember what Bruce Lee said, be the water, not the rock. So you just got to be very fluid, constantly fluid. Speaking of fluid, Liquid Death. To my non-sponsor, Liquid Death.
But I do want to say it's a sponsor.
This is a shout out to Toby. Thank you, Toby, for sending over the Liquid Death. There you go.
How was the premiere of that movie?
It was pretty ghouly. There was a lot of zombies and a lot of ghouly people there. It was cool. Got to say hello to the guy from the Bronx and just, same old cast of characters. Whatever. It's one of those things. Kind of funny, kind of crazy, because it was the first time there were a lot of people in like a theater. My friend Zach came with me, so we were like, "Whoa, it's a shitload of people." But some people were wearing their masks, some people weren't. Same, I saw Fat Mike for a second, stuff like that.
Back in June, we went to a premiere of Punk the Capitol, which is a great documentary, and we
That's cool.
ran into Jeff Nelson.
That's great.
By the time
Did you get a photo? Did you guys get a photo?
We didn't get a photo, but we did get an interview.
Okay, cool.
So by the time this one comes out, I'm hoping that interview will be out.
Yeah.
There you go. That's exciting. That's exciting.
Oh, Jeff was just the coolest. It was so that interview was at like 8:00 at night, and it was the most stressful beginning to an interview ever. I'll let Sam say it.
Go.
So remember how earlier we were talking about how the weather's been crazy here and how we've had really bad storms. So one storm decided to pick on my house, and evidently there was like something loose with our cable, and so it knocked all of our Wi-Fi, all of our TV, whatever, out.
Whoa.
Like out. Cannot be fixed, and they said, no, it won't be fixed. They were like, it won't be fixed for like another 4 days. And I was like,
oh, and by the way, they fixed it today. That interview was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And so we found out, they were like, okay. And I was like, okay, so this is 1 hour before we're supposed to talk to Jeff Nelson. I was like, that's great. It's great. So I called Dom off of like my hotspot, and I'm like, look, I need to figure something out because we can't not do this, So I ended up going to his house. We did the interview. Yes.
And I'm like on the phone with Jeff Nelson, and then for some reason my sound cuts out, and I'm like writing on a pen and paper. I'm like, can you give us 30 minutes? And like holding it up.
Like 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then he's like, yeah. And after a while, I was just like, this is my phone number. We didn't think of this sooner.
Right.
And then Dom had like his usual setup, and I was just like downstairs because we didn't want the sound to collide, so we were just in different rooms, just like
and then that interview happened at like 9:00 at night. We were expecting to wrap it up around like 10. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, Jeff, thank you so much. And then he goes, but we haven't even talked about Minor Threat. And we talked for like another half hour.
We went down like a rabbit hole. Like He's
like, oh, we got this guy going.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Hey man, sometimes you gotta strike when you can, and it's like if he's open to talk.
Yeah, it was like if he wants to talk to us for another half hour about Minor Threat, go for it.
That's cool.
It was pretty amazing. It was a great interview.
I love it. That's cool. Awesome. I'm glad that one went in. I'm looking forward to checking it out because he's a character. So
far,
cool.
This season has been all unintentionally DC. So like,
right.
Yeah, like Jeff Nelson, Minor Threat, like Kim Coletta, Johnny Temple. It's all DC by accident.
There you go. You one of the cast of characters that people don't remember was also kind of a DC guy is Stefan. So there was a minute where Stefan was pretty much like a DC dude. So he is I guess kind of like part of that fabric, the DC, because he moved from Salt Lake to DC. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Doug, thank you so much for your time. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Okay, dude.
Awesome.
All right. It's good seeing you guys. I will see you in Baltimore, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and that's it. And for everybody else, what's going out there in podcast land, if you're trying to track us down, you know the deal. Field Day Sounds, and that's where you can find us. And that's it. Thanks, guys. We will catch you soon. Are we going to go? What's the pizza place we're going to?
Oh, we're going to Johnny Rad's. I'll call you about
Rad's.
Oh, best pizza ever.
We'll have to. I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of that. All right, guys.
We'll talk when the day gets closer.
All right. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.